All right, here we go, guys. Let's get straight into our goal setting and daily numbers. All right, guys, what I'm going to be sharing here is a Google Sheet, and you can go ahead and get it on your Google Drive if you want to use it on Google Drive by clicking File, make a copy, and it'll go straight over to your Google Drive. If you want to download it as a spreadsheet, go ahead and download as an Excel if you want to have it on your computer, okay? Now, there's just a couple of fields that need to be filled out initially so that you can adjust the sheet to your needs. So the only date field that you need to change, if you want to change it, would be the January 2nd field here. You can make it today's date if you want to, but the sheet is designed to be a year's worth, and it's already laid out by the month and the number of days, so that it automatically adjusts your actual earnings based on these cells. So if you change it here, just make sure that you change the actual earnings range. So as you can see here, this one is looking at G21 through G42, 21 through 42 to do the number, the math for these, okay? So just keep that in mind, as well as for the following year. So the sheet is designed to be from January 2nd all the way to December the 31st. So all you need to do is basically make a copy of the sheet and move it over to the next year, and that's it. So you would just say, hey, duplicate. Boom. Copy of year one. So obviously you could name this one 2019. For next year, you can make this 2020, and it'll automatically be the exact same sheet. And then you would obviously just need to adjust. If it's a leap year, let's say we have an extra day, the weekend days are different. You're just going to adjust for that, okay? So when you change the date here to 2020, the days may change. And let's say it bumps over, and now January bumps over into this white area. You just need to remember, hey, that you need to change the actual earnings from G21 through G42 through to 43, for example. So just keep that in mind, guys. That's just some simple admin and fixes that need to be kept into consideration when using the sheet, okay? And just if you find any errors on the sheet, just go ahead and fix it. It's a pretty simple sheet. It's designed to keep track of numbers for you and average your returns as accordingly, okay? So the only numbers you're going to initially change are these. You're going to go ahead and put in your initial capital that you have in your account. For this case study, we started with 3,000. So this is not the actual sheet. This is just a copy I'm sharing with you guys. So I'll show you where I started mine. I actually didn't change the date. I just started where the March 20th date was, just because I wanted to keep the sheet as is. But it does affect your numbers, because if you have a bunch of other days that have 0 trades, it does affect your average daily return and average daily profit, which is okay with me, honestly, because it just motivates me to work a little harder. But just keep that in mind, okay? Because it is averaging out everything on this field. So the initial one you're going to change is the initial equity. As you can see, compound comparison automatically starts to populate for you. And what you're going to notice here is, hey, if you consistently produce 10% returns, you're going to notice that, hey, the first month you're expected to produce $300. The next month, just $330, and so on and so on and so on, okay? By the end of the year, you should end at $9,400 for the account. If you're doing 20%, you'll be at $26,000, $27,000, and at 50, if you ever produce those consistent returns, you'll be looking at $389,000 balance, okay? So that's how that works. And again, this is referencing all of your profits. A lot of these fields will auto-populate for you, and I will demonstrate that here for you guys. The next number I'm going to populate here is going to be my goal for the year. So I want it to be 250,000. Okay, and then you can change your daily goal to 1%, 0.5%, 2%. I like 1% personally. Monthly and the weekly goals, the 20% goal, these numbers are just for references, and that's it. So that's just, hey, I want to be at 20%. This is where I want to be here, this lane here, just because I'm estimating, hey, if I trade 20 days out of the month, I want to be somewhere around here, okay? So that's just what it is. And then my weekly goal, obviously, if you do 1% a day, I want 5% a week. All right. The total trades will auto-populate when you start entering your trades here, as well as your winning trades and losing trades and the win ratio, as soon as you start populating these numbers here. When you're looking at your daily profit goal here, you'll notice that it's $30 and it does not change. That is because we have not entered any actual wins or losses. When you start entering your P&L on a daily basis, you'll start to see how your numbers start to change daily. And they won't change by much. But that's the key, guys, consistency. You don't need home runs every day. You know, the home runs will come, but don't focus on home runs. Focus on steady, consistent growth, and you'll be fine. And this is why it's important to keep track of these numbers. Every morning, I review this sheet. I want to know where I'm at, where my account is, what my max 5% is. And this number is going to be more crucial as your account grows. When you get over 25, 50, or 100,000, this is a very important number to keep track of, because you don't want to exceed. This 5% on most occasions per trade. You want to you want that to be your max risk per trade, your max allocation. But right now with a smaller account, the way I'm using it is as, hey, do not exceed this amount as a loss. You know, do not exceed this. My initial reference though is this 1.5%, which is this $45 mark here, for example. So if I enter a SPY trade and based on a pattern, let's say a morning star or evening star or a pivot break, I don't want to exceed this number here. If it goes against me, you know what? I'm wrong. Let me get out before it gets to this number or at this number, because I don't want to lose more than this. This is already more than I want. So when I get into the trade, I want to be right. And I want to be right today, not tomorrow, not in a couple of days, because of the account size. When the account gets bigger, you can tolerate bigger swings. But as of right now, this is going to be a strict plan with strict rules. And I'm going to show you guys how I go about that, so you can see the kinds of returns you're able to produce when you just focus on a simple 1% return. It's really not that hard, guys. So here, let me show you here. Let's say on day one, we produce 60. Let's go ahead and say we do $60. On day two, let's say we do $130. I'm just going to start populating numbers here so that you guys can start seeing how the numbers start to change. 150. All right, and every day I normally put these numbers in every morning once my P&L statement is complete from TD. That way I can see the actual P&L after all the fees and everything has been calculated, okay? So let's go ahead. Okay. All right. So as you can see here, and then what you're going to start adding is, hey, how many number of trades you took. Okay. And then you're going to put in your winners and your losers. So one winner, one loser. Okay. And you do this every day. I'm just filling in these numbers here so you guys can see what it looks like. Okay. All right. And then you add your remarks. So let's say, oh, killed it with SPY. Let's say here you chickened out, worked out in the end, etc. And you can put in, hey, what the pattern was. So evening star, failed, whatever, you know, stopped out. And that's it. So you just add remarks. You want to start adding remarks so you can kind of look over these things. I personally record. I try to record as much as possible, but my hard drives are getting pretty filled with all these videos, recording pretty much all day long. So I'm having a little bit of trouble with those, but I try to keep up as much as possible or pause the videos. So that's my trading journal, but you can also keep track of your trades by adding a trade tab like this. This is going to come with the sheet. And basically all I do is copy and paste the P&L all the way up to this field here. And then it'll give me the average win, average loss, average win, average loss. And then you can start adding these fields later. I intend to do this on later dates. I do like keeping track of data. Data is key. Once you start keeping track of the things and the reasons why you took a trade, why you got in, why you got out, you'll start to see what you're actually good at. And you're going to get better and better when you have that data. But that'll be coming out later on when I actually get something that is easy to fill in. I actually started one, but I noticed that because I'm paying attention to my trades, coming over here to start typing in information was just taking too much time and taking me away from paying attention to my screen and staying focused on my trades. So I kind of got away from it. So I just kept my video logs and that's it. Okay. So let's just go over the sheet here. So as you can see here, the total number of trades gets populated. You got 13, you got a 53% win ratio, and the number of trades winners versus losers you can see here. Average win, it pretty much calculates your average win dollar amount by averaging the winners from here. The average loss averages the losers from here. And that's it. So average win only averages the winners. Average loss averages the losers. Average daily profits averages all of them. So it takes a look, hey, what do you actually make per day? Based on, you know, your winners and losers on this column here, okay? And then your average daily percent return, it calculates that for you as well. So as you can see, your max risk starts to change. Your daily profit goal also starts to change. Every single day, it goes up and down depending on what you achieved the day prior, okay? So that's what it's looking at. If you add a deposit or add a withdrawal, the numbers will also change. So let's say, you know what? I'm already up $1,700. That's way more than I expected. I'm up. My account is up over $4,500. Let me go ahead and take out that $239. So, and pay myself, because I want to get in the habit of paying myself. So I'm going to go ahead and put minus 239 here. Boom. You see that? And automatically adjust your numbers, but it keeps your percent actual earnings and everything. So the actual earnings up here are going to remain the same regardless of whether you're paying yourself or not, because it's going to keep track of what you're actually making. Your percent goal is going to also remain the same. Everything's going to remain the same. Because that's the way I designed it, so that I can keep track of what I'm actually making, whether I'm paying myself or not. I want to know, hey, if I'm achieving my goal, okay? So let's say you don't trade for the rest of the month. On the next month, you start trading again, and let's say you start with 250. Let's say you make 2,300. You take a loss of 500. Okay. All right, same scenario applies here. You know, let's take a look. One. Okay. All right, so let's take a look, okay? All right, so once you start doing this, as you can see, the next month starts to populate. And it populates for you. It tells you what your actual percentage gain is. Your percent to goal actually increases and all that. And then you see here the columns start to tell you, hey, how far along you are performing on these 10%, 20%, 30, and 50% brackets. So you can see how far along you actually are to hitting your goals visually, because it's important to see, and it gives you that boost, you know. And then let's say the next month you actually start out and you take a big hit. It'll adjust that for you and let you know, oh man, look, it'll auto correct the highlighted the highlights, so that you can see where you are. Okay, and then the next month you start to have a fantastic month. Let's take a look here. It'll auto highlight and it'll skip the other month. Okay, so you can see exactly where you are. All right, guys. All right, and okay, so that's pretty much it. So every day what you want to do is keep an eye on these numbers. You want to keep an eye on your daily profit goal. You want to know where you should be for the month, okay? You want to know where you should be for the day, how much money you should be making, and how much money you're going to be risking. That way you stay focused and you don't get greedy. You got to stay in control and get rid of that greed. So if you notice, like, hey man, I've already locked in my daily percent goal. It was only supposed to be $30. You do not have to keep trying to make $60, $70, $100, $500. Grow the account steadily. The home runs will come. You will have days like this where you make 1,000, where you make 500. But don't stay focused on those days, because they will come. They will come when you have winners that just like, man, you just got in and this thing just took off in your direction, and those days will come. But you want to keep track of this data, because you want to see where you are. You want to know every single day you want to know what your risk is, what your profit should be, and when you keep track of these numbers for yourself, you're going to start to perform a lot better. And this is why I use this sheet. I hope you guys take advantage of it and use it as well. I'm going to go ahead and get over to the next video, which is going to be our chart setup and market internals. I'll see you guys on the next one.